It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the
Hey,
number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve, that big vision. And on today's episode, we have the one and only Dr. Darlene Williams-Prades. Did I get that right?
Dr. Darlene Williams-Prades, that is me.
Prades, I
That is
got it right.
I.
And she'll be talking
Alexa
about,
off.
yes, she'll be talking about relationship communication. What's going on, Dr. Darlene? How you doing?
Oh, nothing but the fun. You know how relationships are day to day, 24 hours. They are nothing but fun because you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of
So
like, how do you get to the middle of a Tootsie Roll? Nobody knows because they keep crunching. They do not wait.
I love it. And thank you all that are watching, by the way. It's an honor to be streaming into your homes right now, especially during these remarkable times. So we appreciate you being here. You know, the first question I have is we get started. It might be on everybody's mind. They'll go read your bio. They'll see how famous you are. We'll get to that later. But they might be saying relationship communication, Shay. That means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So what is Dr. Darlene's definition, and what does relationship communication mean so we can all be on the same page?
Okay. Well, let me help you all out. Relationship communication refers to that exchange of thoughts and feelings and ideas between individuals. That's as simple as it gets. And it doesn't matter whether it's romantic or familiar or friendship or professional. It encompasses just that verbal, nonverbal, that emotional, that behavioral cue that you're going to give somebody to help them build a communication or understanding and trust in you.
So what do you say to the person that says, whoa, Moshe, why do people struggle today with communication? Seems like I'm a person, you're a person. I say something to you, you hear it, and you understand it. So I guess the question I have is, what's a couple of the challenges that people have effectively communicating, especially inside of a
The
relationship?
the mistake people make is they think that communication is just talking. It's not. It requires that you actively listen. And when you actively listen, that means that there's empathy, there's honesty, there's vulnerability, and that ability to navigate conflict respectfully. You don't have to instantly jump to, wait, I'm defensive. No, it's more like, wait, let me think about this. Let me break it down. Let me turn it around. It's healthy communication. That's what this is. Healthy communication, that's a foundation for stronger relationships. So it doesn't mean you're a poor communicator. You just not be maybe an active listener. If you're on your phone when I'm talking to you, you're not actively listening. If you're eating dinner, you hear me. But it takes you a little bit longer because your food is digesting and your brain is trying to digest at the same time. So what you want to be is that communicator who not only understands, but you're actively engaged in such a way that your mind turns it over and goes, I can put myself in that person's position. And there is no misunderstanding, there's no resentment, and there's no disconnection.
I love that. Now, what do you say to the person that says, but I can multitask really well? Now, I'm not a multitasker, ladies and gentlemen. I've tried and I just failed. My wife seemed able to do that pretty well. So what do you say to the person listening saying, well, wait a minute. I can do two things at one time. I can listen and communicate because I hear everything they're saying and I can repeat it back to them. Now, I know some of y'all are special and you may fit in that category. The rest of y'all come over here with me, Shay Brown, because when I do two things at one time, you know it. So my question to you is, for the person that's able to multitask and do two things, three things, and four things at one time, what do you say to that person that you're asking to slow down and just stop and just be laser focused?
Well, I'll give you an example. With my husband, I have this thing I call sender. That would be me or him, receiver. If I am cooking in the kitchen, I can hear him. I'm multitasking. Jay, I'm multitasking. I'm cooking and I'm moving things around, and my mind is focused on seasonings, and I'm moving in the kitchen. Somewhere in what he's saying, sender, I'm the receiver, there can be something that's unclear. Now, why is it unclear? because it's misinterpreted by the brain. Either the tone is misunderstood, the intention is misunderstood, or the content may be misunderstood. There's also something called listening in a passive way. And that means it's lack of activity or engagement, but mostly empathy. So, yeah, you're multitasking, but your brain is trying to process way too much. So, when you come back to that person and you want to have this now active conversation, sometimes there are assumptions that jumped in while you're doing all these different things. So, you got these jump in conclusions like double dutch. That's not helping you. So I ask people, just shut down for a little bit, just just a little bit, and actually listen. That doesn't mean you have to stop cooking, but put something on low long enough to say, hey, what were you saying? I want to make sure, this means you're actively listening, that I've gotten all the details. Or if you can stop, take a seat and say, or ask them to wait. That way, you shouldn't be multitasking because you don't know how important what they're saying is. I've had people say things to me in passing. Oh, my mother passed away. Well, if I were not actively listening, I would know what I was saying or what I was doing. But when you stop long enough to, okay, that person wants a response, but they want the appropriate response.
Ah, spot on. And they're probably listening saying, Shay, I like what I'm hearing. I hope she gives me 2 or 3 ideas that I can use to be a better communicator or effective person in a relationship. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, they might be curious, say, who is this person? There's someone cooking dinner right now, as you said, and they may be listening to the podcast, or maybe we're streaming right now on someone's iPad, or maybe on your computer. Thank you so much. We might be on someone's TV screen right now. They're like, Shay, I have not had an opportunity to go read her bio. First time I'm hearing of this person. I know she's famous all over the world, but slow down for a moment. Take a moment, if you would, and share with the audience, who are you? You know the question, what's your backstory? And what led you to that defining moment for you doing what you're doing now?
Well, I let me start off with I am Dr. Darlene Williams-Prades. I'm the CEO of Superior Love Forever. My backstory is I am an adopted child of 2 people who were singles. In other words, they didn't have siblings on either side. And I was an adopted child who didn't have a sibling. So we were 3 people with no siblings. And I didn't understand how that life would be. Number one, not knowing later on who my real parents were and what the real generational things were going on in that culture and that family, nor did I really know the people that adopted me. And I say that because at 16, when I lost both of them about 6 months apart, I didn't have a lot of answers. I didn't know what my medical life was really like or what I could, contract or already have within my body. I didn't know what I could possibly be allergic to along the way. I didn't know that somewhere in my background there was abuse or whatever, alcoholism. I didn't have any answers really. What I knew was the people that grew me up were gone, and now I had no one. I did not have aunts, uncles, cousins, or grandparents because one, they didn't have any siblings, and two, both sets of grandparents were already deceased by the time I was 9 years old. So everything about my life was built on it takes a neighborhood to raise a child. And we really did have a neighborhood. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we had a neighborhood where everybody for 10 miles in any direction knew who my parents were and they knew who I was. But when you lose that, it says, what do you do now? I went through abuse. I went through all kinds of challenges, and I came up not on fire, but as a phoenix, burning to help other people not be me, not to let them know, yes, you're adopted, but you're not by yourself. Yes, your parents are gone, you don't know them, but you're not by yourself. Yes, this is a world where there's a billion people and you can stand in the center of a street and still be all alone.
I love that, by the way. And what was one of the causes that made you say, I'm going to do a deeper dive in relationship and marriage coaching? Because you could have picked a lot of topics. I mean, I love the motivation I hear. I love the inspiration. But you said, no, I'm going to do a deep dive. So when you have a relationship with a spouse or a family member or a significant other, that relationship brings a bond. I understand the backstory of what brought you here, but why'd you pick relationships? I mean, now, Shay Brown, I'm on my third marriage. I'm very, very happy, ladies and gentlemen. We've been together 16 years, so I'm happy. But why marriage coaching? I'm just curious. You could have picked a lot of different areas, but why marriage coaching?
Because I'm on my third marriage, Shay.
Really? We're not alone.
I'm on my, hey, uno, dos, tres, that is me. And I found out that the first one was about I had nobody. And so I wanted somebody. And the second one was about I didn't have the right somebody the first time. And the third one was about I am so in love with you that the whole world fades away. When I have a problem, you and God are my refuge. And I can make this if we work as a team. And I looked at it and I was like, ooh, I could tell people don't do this, this, and this, because the first marriage was like, woo, hair on fire. The second was like whole body on fire. Okay. And so the third one became that moment where it's like, ooh, this is good. This is where you're supposed to be. The journey begins with a child from zero. You know what I'm saying? You're starting at zero. And I say to people all the time, if you're already at no, the only way to go is up. That's the only place to go. And I started thinking about that. And I was like, wait a minute, I keep giving advice to folks so that they don't either get into narcissistic relationships or get out of abusive relationships when they're saying, oh, but he loves me. No, he's beating your brains out. That's not love. That's something else. And when you spend time learning and going to therapy and understanding this is not it. So, how can I show other people this is not it? The journey is shaped by service, it's shaped by resilience, it's shaped by my unwavering belief that the power of transformation happens over decades of I can serve people if I know who to serve. Even when I served in the United States Air Force, I had people coming to me. They were coming to me with their problems. And I'm like, wait, let me do some research, but then let me also let you in on my life so that they know, look, I'm human here. The mistakes you're making, I made those already. We can get you out of those. I've worked with gang male youth, and I've served as the champion for FEMA Diversity and Inclusion Council, and it's the same thing. Relationships matter. Whether you're married, whether you're friends, whether it's family, whether it's in business, relationships matter. But some relationships don't.
And we'll have a two-part question. That's spot on, by the way. What would you say to the person that's saying, you know, Shay, I'm that woman right now. There's a lot going on. I need to maybe move on from the relationship I'm in. I'm listening. If Dr. Darlene could give me what step one I should do to get out of this thing, I'm step two or step three. If I had to give me 3 steps just to move on, it's a loaded question. I understand that, but if they're listening now and they're like, "Yeah, I've been suffering in silence. There may be some abuse there or not." Again, I'm just thinking of you. You, the person that's watching. You, the person that's listening. You, the person that tuned in. What would you say to that woman that's watching right now, or man? But let's say a woman who's watching now. What are 3 things you would say to them?
First of all, I want you to sit down, take a deep breath, and be honest with yourself. Okay? Don't worry about everybody else. Be honest with yourself. What do you need to wake up in the morning and smile? What do you need to go on with your day and know that you have not only been productive for your company, but productive for self? And then I want you to take stock in what it is that you are in. Does this relationship do these 3 things? Does it make you cry more than it makes you smile? Does it make you run more than it makes you want to stay? And do you feel valued, heard, and seen? When you answer those questions, then you have to make that decision. Is this enough or am I settling? If you're settling, then why? Is it you're settling because in past generations, your parents, your grandparents, they all said, oh, it'll be fine. These are little bumps in the road. Just keep going. Also, does that person have the same grounding and foundation as you? What that means is, what's their upbringing? What's their background? Are they willing to see you and see them and then make the necessary moves to transform you all into one? Because at some juncture, if you're going to be with a person, time is something you can't get back. So, step one is evaluate you. Step two is evaluate your relationship. And step three, make a move. Don't just sit there. And then, fourth bonus, and I tell people this, and sometimes they get mad, and I hope they don't, but they need to listen. Don't do like I did. Don't take advice from somebody who's not even in a relationship. That's like taking advice from somebody who never had a baby. How can they tell you how labor feels? They haven't had a baby. How can they tell you how to raise a child? They haven't had that responsibility. And relationship is that it is the child that you are birthing into something better every minute of every day, of every month, of every year. You want it to grow up to be spectacular. That's your relationship.
I love it, by the way. Spot on. If you're listening out there right now, perfect. Take a moment now if you can, and then we'll move on to the next segment. But I'm curious for the person out there that's like, wow, Shay, that was powerful, but I'm in a relationship right now. Again, loaded question, but I'm in a relationship and I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm ready to go deeper. I'm ready to be closer. What are three things that you could do to someone who's in a loving, nurturing relationship, but they know they have the potential to go to a whole nother level? Again, it's loaded. I know y'all have different situations, different scenarios, different folks, different ages and backgrounds. But if you had to give just 3 points, what would you share to that person right now that's listening?
Wow. You say they want to be at another level?
Well, they're ready
So,
to get their relationship to the whatever the next level looks like for them is
whatever the
not on the
next level
abusive
looks
side, but
like.
they're like, hey, I'm trying to have a happy, joyful, fulfilling, blissful relationship. And what are 3 things that I can do that you may have done or you teach other folks to do to help me lead to get there?
So, the three things that I did to get to this marriage and this happy is I had to define our shared vision and why it matters. Because alignment on long term goals creates a clarity and a strength that helps you bond. Okay. The next thing I did was I made sure that I made more active listening, enhance my communication, open and honest communication. There's no fear. So when I'm talking to him, it's healthy relationship because the foundation is built. That means practice that active listening and validate each other's feelings and having that regular check-in about your relationship and see where it is for him or her or they, whoever it is. Address the conflicts early. Don't let this become a destructive situation, but constructive using your I statements. And that third and final thing, prioritize quality time. And people's like, I work. Yes, you do. But time spent together strengthens emotional and intimacy bonds. Put some plans in place. Plans for date nights or activities that everybody enjoys. Unplug from the TV, unplug from your phone, your iPad, and whatever else you plugged into, especially your office. Incorporate fun, and adventure. Be like you were when you first met and make sure that you build that emotional intimacy and strengthen that physical intimacy. And first and foremost, no matter what, focus, focus, focus. I'm going to say it one more time, focus on personal growth. Because a healthy relationship is built on two individuals who are continually growing, not two individuals and one is growing. So I hope that answers all your questions. I gave you 6 nuggets right there.
We're so
You asked for
thankful.
3, I gave you 6. But if you want me to throw in another one, that would be strengthen your trust. And that means that's the bedrock of any relationship. And also embrace challenges as a team, as a team. And
As a
also
team.
yeah, as a team. And look, when you have conflicts in your relationship, don't make it a war. It's not you versus them. It's you guys versus whatever that problem is. To avoid all kinds of situations that don't need to be there. And Shay, you know my favorite thing is to celebrate. So celebrate every milestone, every win. I don't care how small the win is. If somebody calls you and say, "Baby, guess what? Today I fasted till noon. Good job." Acknowledge the win. It doesn't have to be tremendous, because when you do that, that person knows they care about what I do. And if all else fails, seek guidance. Seek guidance. So you asked for 3, I gave you 11. That's your bonus for today.
Ah, that is super amazing. Thanks so much. And it's a perfect segue because you gave us a lot there. And that's what we need to have a healthy, joyful, blissful relationship. Is we have a segment here that's called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. We do this every night. And you can go ahead and say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. And for everyone else who's tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. It's an honor and a privilege to be streaming into your home right now or onto your device. Today is my January 1st represents our personal mantra. It means to us you get a fresh start. It means to us you get a do-over. It means your past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for Dr. Darlene on the other side is really twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st. What do you hear? What do you hear? And number two, what was another time there was a stumble, there was a setback, there was a challenge in your life, and how did you bounce back from it?
Well, today is my January 1st. I accept that challenge. And over the past year, I have met the most amazing people. And they have given me so much, not just information, but their physical and mental, emotional energy, and the ways they do understand where I am and where they see me going, and the encouragement. And that January 1st moment is the superpower for 2025 for me, because it's that profound understanding that they've given to me that have made me see me in a different way. Now, I've had plenty of challenges. I've had uterine, breast, and brain cancer. And with those three things, most people are like, "Oh, woe is me." No, there's no woe is me. I've been set on fire. And there's, "Oh, woe is me." Nope, there's no woe is me. I'm a phoenix. Phoenix rise from ashes, and they are on fire all the time. But it's not because they got burned. It's because they know, in here, I fly. No matter what else happens, I fly. I was a singer many, many years ago, and I've been unhealthy. And you know how I fixed that? I started singing. And that music that kept me on stage kept me alive, and it kept me going, and it kept me thinking. And I hear my father's words every time, because when I was young, he said the same thing over and over and over. So, of course, it got drilled into my head. Your scars are not signs of failure, they're signs of survival, the power of perseverance, and the sight in dark times. And I'm like, wow, what does that mean? Well, when you listen to it as a 9-year-old, it's like, yeah, yeah, oh God, I get it. But it also meant you're your own best advocate. And sometimes you can be your own worst enemy, because you don't want to hear that still voice that comes through, or that intuition that comes through that says, don't do that. What's the don't do that? Don't do that is, don't marry that guy. That guy's not good for you. Or don't drive your car too fast because you might get into an accident. Or don't eat that food. Don't overeat. Don't not exercise. Take your medication. All the things that we just ignore sometimes. But when you look in the mirror of life, he told me to stand tall, back straight, shoulder squared, and just say 2 words: I am willing. 3 words, technically. I'm willing. And whatever you put after that. And so that's what I do every day. I am willing. And what I say is, I am willing to push past the past into the glorious future, because nothing waits for me back there.
I love it, man. This is spot on. Good stuff. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world? We're not making a difference for other folks. We're not
When
out
I am
changing
not out saving the
relationships.
world, I am writing books. I
Okay.
am playing golf and bowling with my husband. I'm hanging out with my daughter, my four grandkids, my sons, my daughter-in-law, my friends. I am just taking a little break and taking walks. I like to read. I like to read. Like right now, I am actually reading a book called Your Manifest Destiny. And it's a very interesting book on how what you say and what you think have power enough to manifest what you want.
Wow, you're definitely a teacher at heart. You have a heart to give. You have a heart to serve. As we're coming down the home stretch, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any? And number two, how can folks best connect with you? Like, how can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time they have with you now?
Well, Shay, I'm glad you asked that question because right now I'm actually stepping into a season where I want an expansive amount of clients who are couples who are looking to restore structure in their relationship or get out of a bad relationship. I'm looking to help families who have had severed relationships and they want to bring them back together. And I'm looking to speak to people who want to understand that relationship matters. So I'm stepping into a season of expansion and greater impact with my company Superior Love Forever. I'm launching two new books. One is a novel, murder mystery novel called Lyra Locks and Keys, and the other one is 12 Steps to Supercharging Your Relationship. I also have a podcast called Relationship Matters that will be going back on the scene on in February, and I'm going to talk about all the different things we can do to help the matters of your relationship and give you some tips and tricks on how to thrive and not just survive. And I'm also looking forward to having the new clients come into my master classes on Thursday nights, where we actually sit with our glass of wine and we talk about what matters in relationships. But if people really want to reach me, they can reach me on Facebook at Dr. Darlene Williams-Prades, or they can reach me on TikTok at Superior Love Forever, or make it real simple. They can reach out to me on my website at superiorloveforever.com, and I'm all over it. You just have to drop me a line. We can set up a consult, and life is good because now we're rolling into February, and that's Valentine's Day. And what we really want is good relationships.
So true. Well, let me be the first to say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And you've given us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. So thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
It has been my pleasure. And you know what? My January 1st and my January 2nd and my January forever will always be my honor to be wherever you are when you need help anytime.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you. Thank you to viewers, by the way. Thank you for tuning in because without you, well, there's no show. So we appreciate you allowing us to stream into your home. Maybe we're on your tablet right now. Maybe we're on your iPhone or Android, or maybe we're on your laptop. For some of you, it's kind of cool. We might be on the big screen right now. You're watching. Thank you so much. And I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you really are a special, incredible, amazing individual. There's no hyperbole there. That's the truth. And that no matter what's going on in your life right now, whether things are going really, really well, or you've been hit with the punch you never saw coming, the one thing I believe to be true is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Jay Brown. It hasn't changed. Still the same. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. Thank you so much, Darlene. We out of here. Peace. See you on the other
Peace.
side. On the other side. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we get together again, we out of here. Bye-bye.